The Islamic call to prayer just started sounding off from the Turkish side. Can you hear it? This is Rezovo, Bulgaria's last village before the land runs out, where the Black Sea meets the river Rezovska, and across that river, Turkey. The EU ends here, and this is where my road trip begins. As the marker says, Rezovo is the most southeastern tip of Bulgaria and the EU. This is where Christian Bulgaria meets Muslim Turkey, a centuries-old fault line. Welcome to the edge of Europe, of history, of Bulgaria. For the next couple days, I'm tracing the invisible line between Bulgaria and Turkey. Like this river Rezovska here. Across the river, 20 meters away, that's Turkey. Village on the Turkish side is Varovnik. Here's where the Rezovska River empties into the Black Sea. A literal dividing line between East and West, shaped by centuries of empire, war, uneasy peace. During the Cold War, of course, this area was heavily militarized. Civilians needed special permission just to come here. Now it's very quiet. I'm starving, and my guest house host says to eat at this restaurant here. The best views and the best food in town. I've shown you this dinner already in my previous video, The Soviet Riviera, and I won't repeat. Link to that video is in the description section. Good morning. Before leaving Rezovo, let me show you a few of the old houses here that existed during Cold War times and earlier. Goodbye, Rezovo. Let's get up to the mountains. So today, day 2 began and will remain in Strandzha. Strandzha is a geographical region where Bulgaria's forested edge brushes against Turkey. And they say in these mountains, the villages here whisper in Greek and chant in Slavic. First stop is going to be a village called Kosti, first mentioned in an Ottoman tax register of 1498. History goes back further than that, of course, based on nearby Thracian ruins. Located deep within Strandzha forest, Kosti has always been a borderland. Centuries ago, Ottoman tax collectors rode these muddy paths. And later, communist patrols replaced them. This life here has always been watched. The traditional houses of Kosti are unlike those found anywhere in the country. They reflect a distinct cultural blend rooted in the village's laws and Greek heritage, shaped by the region's Ottoman-era isolation, forest-based economy, and a unique spiritual tradition like fire dancing. You remember the laws, right? I introduced them to you during my 1.5-year-long road trip around Turkey. The Laz is an ethnic group, Black Sea people, northeastern Turkey and Georgia, known for their big noses. Anyway, the Laz built these traditional houses, 2 floors. The ground floor was made of local stone, which provided insulation and security. I think the ground floor was used for livestock and workshops. And the upper floor was constructed with these massive oak beams, using the abundant Strandzha forests. So where are the Laz and the Pontic Greeks now? Great question. After the Balkan Wars and World War I, the Laz and the Greeks were resettled. They moved mostly to Greece. And the Bulgarians, who were living in eastern Thrace, now Turkey, moved in and I believe, renovated these houses. I think the wood was replaced by brick. They also added windows. These original houses, I read, didn't have windows. And then the Pomoks left, the Muslim Bulgarians. There was a mosque here. It's been since removed. Let's do a little walk in the center. This is the Saints Cyril and Methodius Church, built with cut stone and mortar in the 1800s with donation from the local Greek population. And it was destroyed during the Ilinden Uprising, the Transfiguration Uprising of 1903, and then restored in 1909. I have an idea. Let's eat. This cafe has real potential. A stripper pole. No English spoken here, but I think the owner has just given me the one thing they have. It's pig. Communist-era building next to the cafe. Let's check out the village public bathroom. Here's a Cold War era World War II monument. At the top it says, "Glory to the heroes." And about the fire dancing here, for centuries, villagers have danced over burning coals in a trance, invoking saints older than the state, gods older than the church, they say. It was part of a Thracian sun cult, and it was later Christianized in honor of Constantine and Helena. It's still going strong. The Ottomans and the communists couldn't extinguish the practice. Look at that. That's a border patrol checkpoint right as you exit Kosti. Got an hour's drive till the next planned stop. There's a baby pig. Which way to go? Malko Tarnovo or Turkey? At the end of this road is a Thracian sanctuary, Mishkova Niva. They say construction probably began around the 2nd millennium BC. It's right on the Turkish border. First scientifically recorded in 1926, this is Mishkova Niva, an ancient Thracian tomb completed nearly 2,500 years ago. But for much of the 20th century, no one could visit. Tucked just meters from the Turkish border, this was closed Cold War territory. Armed guards and barbed wire fences kept everybody out. All right, 15 minutes to reach Malko Tarnovo, where I'm staying tonight. By the way, for the past hour, I've only been able to pick up Turkish cell signal. And there it is, Malko Tarnovo, the only Bulgarian town right on the Turkish land border. This is my hotel. $40 a night. They don't have a copy machine. I know that because I need a copy machine to photocopy the front and back of my driver's license for a bank account I'm trying to open in Serbia. That's another video. I bought a house a few weeks ago in Serbia. It's a real pain in the ass so far. So let's walk about the town, find some food, see what we learn. I like the houses I'm seeing here. They feel very Ottoman-y, don't they? Well, Not all of them, of course. I guess what's giving me that feel is, for a lot of the houses, the upper floor juts out over the lower one. Kind of like an Ottoman balcony. Stone on the bottom, wood on the top. I guess it's Balkan, influenced by Ottoman. Oh wow, this is the stone that they found in Mishkova Niva, the Thracian site I just took you to. It's just sitting out here on the street. Here is the main square. It is very quiet here. Yet somehow must have been quieter during the Cold War. This is the Iron Curtain's final curtain. A surveillance zone. Locals lived under curfew. This is the Orthodox Church of the Assumption. When it was first built in the 1830s, churches could not be tall, loud, or ornate. And that's why it is set a little below street level. I said it was quiet here. That's before one old lady came across the street and started screaming. The bell tower was added later after Ottoman control loosened. Let me show you the symbols of the town. This Ottoman fountain is called Big Spring, and it was once the city's only captured water source. And across from it, we have another Ottoman-era fountain, and this is called Small Spring. The Strandzha park rangers are using Russian Lada 4x4s. Catholic Church of the Holy Trinity. Still looking for food. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I'm very hangry. It's the border police station behind me, and here's the restaurant I was walking to. It's been closed for a long time. Thanks, Google. For reference, it's Tuesday, 7 o'clock. When I started walking around, it was Tuesday, 5:30. Everything shuttered. Interesting. This building looks promising. Big sign that says restaurant. It's not on Google Maps. Let's see if they have food. They have food. No English, but food. Bulgarian hot pepper? Pirinsko. Bulgarian beer. Owned by Carlsberg. Smoking inside restaurants is illegal throughout all of Bulgaria, but in Malko Tarnovo, no one cares. Heading back to my hotel for the night. I should tell you that the people in this town look very, very strange to me. A head that was too large for the body and shaped like an upside-down pyramid. Just things like this. And I don't know the reason for that, but I can speculate. It's the most isolated town in Bulgaria, one of the most isolated towns in Bulgaria for centuries. And then, of course, throughout the entire Cold War, there was virtually no in, no out. You know, the town was in lockdown. It's a small population, under around 2,000 people, so I'll let you figure it out. And back at my hotel, where it's impossible to get a beer or anything. And good morning from Malko Tarnovo. I'm going to try to find some coffee in a bakery before my 4-hour drive today. I was thinking about what I said last night, how the people seemed weird to me, or looked weird to me, and they do, but maybe not for the reason I presumed. The town has suffered through layers of hardship. Ottoman rule, Balkan Wars, communism, Cold War militarization, post-1989 economic collapse. And so all of this maybe shows in the people's faces, the way they dress, the way they behave. Maybe. Proudly displayed here in this little border cafe. This flag is from the People's Republic of Bulgaria, the country's name during the communist era from 1946 to 1990. It reads, "For our socialist homeland," and features the old state emblem, a lion surrounded by wheat, topped with a red star, and dated September 9th, 1944. That's the day the communists came to power. And for many, it's just history, but for others, especially in towns like Malko Tarnovo that lived under strict border control, it can be a symbol of pride, or memory, or resistance. Depends on who you ask. The coffee here comes to around 75 cents. The church is open. Let's take a look. Nope, the lady would not let me take any photos inside, but she was able to communicate certain facts. For example, the first church that stood here was built in 1754. And do you see this door here? There's another door on the other side. That is so when Turks enter one way, the men can flee out the other door. And the women and children would be up on the balcony. And she said it was some way to save them from the Turks. A lot lost in translation, I'm sure. Very beautiful inside. Time to say goodbye to Malko Tarnovo and head deeper along Bulgaria's frontier with Turkey. During communism, this road was part of Bulgaria's green border, a heavily controlled zone separating east from west. Now, it's patrolled for smuggling, not ideology. That was only a 15-minute drive to reach this village here, Brashlyan. It was once an Ottoman village where Christians practiced their faith in secret. It's a hotbed of Christian resistance and Bulgarian national awakening. And the reason I'm stopping here is that I read that there were a number of wooden houses here from the 1600s and the 1700s. This is probably one of them. This village was originally named Sarmaşık, which means ivy in Turkish. It was founded under the Ottoman Empire in the 1600s. Brashlyan's remote forested setting made it a safe haven for hajuks, rebels and bandits fighting Ottoman rule, and later revolutionary committees connected with the fight for Bulgaria's independence. Many of the houses were secretly used to shelter fighters or smuggle messages across the Strandzha region. In 1934, the village was renamed Brashlyan, which also means ivy, but in Bulgarian. An ethnographic museum housed in this wooden house. Here is the Church of St. Demetrius, built in the 17th century on the site of an ancient Thracian sanctuary. Like other borderland churches, it was built partially sunk into the ground to avoid attracting attention. It's a long church. I'm not sure that the camera is capturing it sufficiently for you to see, but the walls are buckling outward. Unfortunately, the church is locked, and the old lady that has the key is very, very sick. I know that because another old lady told me. But let me tell you what's inside there, why I was so excited. Inside, there's an altar dedicated to a Zeus Dionysus. It's built into the pulpit of the church. On a marble block, the inscription reads in ancient Greek, "To Zeus Dionysus, an altar I have made here. I, Lycomedes, son of Christus, and priest of the great Bacchus, for the high honor received by lot, both for my children and for my mists. Save them, blessed Dionysus." In this case, Bacchus is one of the names of the god Dionysus. This isn't the first time I've shown you this vehicle. The Soviet UAZ 4x4, produced from 1965, used commonly by the military, police, and border guards throughout the Eastern Bloc. During the Cold War, this village sat inside the forbidden border zone. Many villagers were forced to collaborate with state security. It's a 2 to 3 hour drive now, and Google Maps says severe fires. Wish me luck. Driving through the town of Zvezdets. Just stopped the car for this local Cold War era monument in Zvezdets. The inscription on the side reads, "Unfading glory and eternal gratitude to those who fell in the fight against capitalism and fascism." Moving on. Seems like there's a lot of Roma housing, gypsy housing here in Zvezdets. Google Maps says just to go 50 miles further to Rezovo, which is not a planned stop. 2 hours. 2 hours for 50 miles. Check out this wooden skeleton of a Cold War era Bulgarian border guard watchtower. And these wooden towers were spaced along the forest edge or hills to give guards a clear vantage point for spotting crossings, smugglers, or defectors heading toward Turkey. Not much happening in old Varovnik. Are those bullet scars? Wait, gotta take a closer look at that fountain. A relic of Bulgaria's communist era, when even a simple watering hole carried ideological weight. From the inscription here, I see it was built by a good labor brigade. This fountain served both animals and villagers on this rural road west of Varovnik. The good labor brigade also carved workers and pickaxes in stone, obviously to glorify the values of hard work and unity. Finally, back on a proper road. We've left Strandzha. We're in Yambol region, near Rezovho. It was about 50 miles and it took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. And along the entire drive, I didn't see another single car on the road or a human. Interesting. Not planning to stop in Rezovho. I'm gonna keep on going. Tonight's town is Svilengrad. It's about another hour and a half drive. Just entered the village of Ustrem, and there's a communist gateway monument fountain here. Take a quick look. Come on, out of my way, horse. We continue. I'm smelling that smell you get when you put out a campfire. This is a burn area. Maybe this is the extreme fire Google Maps was talking about. Edirne, Turkey. Right to my left, by the way. It's one of the former capitals of the Ottoman Empire. Arrived Svilengrad, home sweet home for the night. Just a few kilometers from the Turkish border and the Greek border. And my bed is here in this fine looking establishment, Hotel Royal. And here is what $47 a night gets you in Svilengrad. And of course, a balcony. And now, as we do, a little walk about this border town. Population around 17,000. Holy Trinity Church, 1834 was when it was initially built. Hotel Tvilena, you can see the decorative mosaic relief typical of many communist-era buildings, public buildings. This hotel was built in 1974. It was part of the Balkan tourist chain. You know all about Balkan tourist from my last video. The Soviet Riviera, link to it in the description section. Svilengrad was founded by the Ottomans around a caravanserai complex and this massive stone bridge, ordered by Mustafa Pasha and designed by Mimar Sinan, the Ottoman Empire's most renowned architect. At the time of its completion in 1529, it was the largest stone bridge in the Balkans. The town developed as a key stop on the Istanbul to Europe route, vital for moving goods and armies between Edirne and Plovdiv. Its name at the time was simply Bridge of Mustafa Pasha. Oh, look at this. They were kind enough to translate this inscription for us. It says, "This bridge was built under the reign of Sultan Suleiman Khan, son of Sultan Selim Khan, the greatest amongst sultans, may he be safe and secure, by their Grand Vizier Mustafa Pasha. May God protect him for his creation. For this was his greatest and long-lasting good deed throughout the year, and it bears the date of an eternal good deed." 1529 AD. This 20-arch, 295-meter-long bridge crosses the Marica River, which is the largest river that flows entirely within the Balkans. Largest bridge for the largest river. I've shown you the Maritsa before in Dimitrovgrad, communist planned city in Bulgaria. I'll put a link to that video in the description section. The Maritsa is 300 miles long, and its lower course forms the border between Greece and Turkey. Due to its location, Svilengrad became home to Bulgarians, Turks, Greeks, Jews, and Armenians, many involved in crafts and commerce. And it remained under Ottoman control until 1912. It was 1912 when Bulgarian forces captured this town from the Ottomans in the First Balkan War, and this monument marks the occasion. After Bulgaria's liberation, Svilengrad became a border checkpoint town, increasingly militarized. During the Cold War, this was a tightly monitored security zone with border police, military posts, and surveillance to control movement to NATO member Turkey, just across the river. Let's eat here. I'm thirsty and hungry. The menu is in Bulgarian, English, and Turkish. I think you can say that my dinner is Ottoman-Bulgarian fusion. I ordered tarator, that's the cold yogurt and chopped cucumber Bulgarian soup that I like so much. I got Turkish Adana kebab, it's a spicy beef and lamb mince skewer, and some küfte, some Turkish meatballs. Got some ouzo, some Greek ouzo, and some mineral water. Okay, so I hit Greece, Bulgaria, and Turkey. Just like rake, you dilute ouzo with water as well. And mastika, don't want to leave out Bulgaria. And all three, of course, are anise flavored. And Bulgarian biscuit cake for dessert. So let's say the end, day 3 on Bulgaria's Turkish border. Tomorrow I'll end this video and cross into Greece. Welcome to the last day on Bulgaria's Turkish border. And my first day with clouds for a while. Yeah, running late today. It's already 12 noon. I had a number of tasks to do this morning related to my home purchase in Serbia. And I went food shopping because things are a lot cheaper in Bulgaria than Greece, and Greece is where I'm headed. Benzene. Gas is a lot cheaper in Bulgaria too. Bulgaria is the cheapest in the EU for gas. It's 1.15 euros per liter. Compare that to Greece, 1.8 euros per liter. I mean, Greece is one of the most expensive places when it comes to benzene. Anyway, I'll show you 2 or 3 more spots in Svilengrad, and that's the end of the video. And the first stop is the Svilengrad rail station, an east-west nerve point. The railway line connecting Istanbul to Sofia and beyond ran through here and was a major Cold War surveillance point. All train passengers between east and west were inspected here. Sometimes spies were smuggled through in freight cars. Smuggling routes, escapes, intelligence activity, all part of Svilengrad's shadowy borderland life during this period. Heading now to Mezek, That's a village within the Svilengrad municipality. And along the road to the village, I'm seeing some decaying Cold War era military infrastructure, bunkers and barracks. I'm taking you here to end the video at a Byzantine fortress, but I just saw a sign pointing in this direction for a Thracian beehive tomb, so let's do that first. Lots of information boards lining the pathway to the tomb about Thracian hunting, Thracian jewelry, Thracian soldiers, and Thracian chariot races, and some stats about the tomb. And now the tomb itself, which predates our next stop, the Byzantine fortress, by over 1,500 years. It shows how deeply rooted in ancient history this area is. This 4th century BC tomb is 29.95 meters long. Wow. The kings were buried here with gold wine and weapons, and were perhaps watching over these hills long before the first stones were set. Now to the fortress. Mezek Fortress. It's one of the best preserved medieval fortresses in Bulgaria. It was built in the 11th century during the Byzantine era to serve as a military stronghold, controlling the strategic route between Adrianople, which you now know as Edirne, Turkey, and Plovdiv. These stone walls date back over 1,000 years to a time when the Byzantine Empire fought to maintain control over its Balkan provinces. You can see 3 countries from up here: Bulgaria, Turkey, and Greece. This fortress stood guard over the Thracian plains, shielding trade routes from rebels, invaders, and eventually Ottoman incursions. When the Ottomans expanded into the Balkans in the 14th century, this region, so close to the borderlands of Byzantium, was among the first to fall. After the Ottoman conquest, Mezek Fortress was abandoned as a military post. It suffered some additional damage in 1900 when stones were used to build nearby Ottoman barracks in Svilengrad. During the Cold War, Mezek Fortress was used as a watch point due to its elevation and line of sight over borders. And you can see a Cold War era bunker here. Let's climb it. Wow, there's the road we came in on. Thracian tombs below, Byzantine walls above, Ottoman roads just beyond those hills. Okay, let's end this. From the cliffs of Rezovo, where the Black Sea meets the border, to this hilltop overlooking the plains of Thrace, we followed the fault line between Bulgaria and Turkey. A border shaped by ancient kings, Ottoman sultans, Cold War generals, and forgotten villagers. Down below, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Greece touch. 3 countries 3 histories, and yet so many shared stories. Thracian tombs hidden for centuries, Cold War bunkers left to rot, and border towns that still carry the echoes of empire. This isn't just a border. It's a living archive. And standing here, you feel how geography becomes destiny. So, thanks for joining on this 4-day road trip. Just your average gas station in Bulgaria.